Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome. My name is Heather, and on this channel we like to walk a very fine line between a shopping addicted makeup monster and a responsible adult with a makeup hobby. Now, I really enjoy eyeshadow singles, duochromes, multichromes, blush, highlight, lip gloss, basically everything except pressed glitter. And today we're going to be doing a like trying new makeup, get ready with me, chit chatty kind of thing. And I just want to update you on how my progress is going with the semaglutide injections. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, stick with me. We're getting into it right now. So the first thing to know is that I'm having like serious sad regrets because this NYX pigment primer is allegedly discontinued by NYX, and it's the pigment primer. It's like the eyeshadow primer I've been using for, I don't know, several years now at this point, and I'm gonna have to go find something else, and that makes me really sad. And I'm just gonna try this Dirty Martini palette out. I have not tried it yet before, but I did pick it up the last time Glamlight did one of their like 20% off sales or 30% off sales. Yoo-hoo. There we go. Yeah, that looks pretty. So at this point, this is very dirty. Here. Okay, so at this point I am a little over 4 months into my program of getting weekly semaglutide injections. I stayed at each dose for at least 2 to 4 weeks before like upping my doses, and I'm now up to the 1.3 dose, but I really think I could be just fine with the 1 milligram dose, so I may go actually back down a little bit because I think my appetite might be a little bit too suppressed, because if I don't make a conscious effort to eat, I'm not going to, and that's a little bit of an issue. Now, the one thing that I think is super important, at least for me, with using this medication is your protein, right? So that was the guidance that I was given by the team that I work with, and really like prioritizing your protein above everything else. So I am also doing like a ketogenic diet, so I am limiting my carbohydrates. Now this weekend kind of went off the rails because I went to a baby shower and I had a cookie, but I had 1 cookie. So off the rails for me now is very different from off the rails me before. But yeah, I'm sticking to a ketogenic diet. So I shoot for less than 20 grams of carbohydrates per day. And the bulk of my calories, I'm looking for lean proteins. So chicken breast, salmon, sometimes ground beef or sausage, but those are less frequent. A lot of chicken breast, chicken thighs, because that's what's easy for my family. And my husband does do the same diet as me, which helps out a lot. So I've been shooting for about 80 grams of protein a day, which I think is a good amount for me. And the one thing that I notice is it's kind of hard to get that much protein into my day. So I've been trying to come up with ways to sort of encourage a little bit more protein in my diet. And one of the things that I discovered is that I've been trying to find ways to get a little bit more protein in my diet because it's hard to kind of sit down and eat such a big giant meal all at once. So one of the things that I've been starting to do is a protein shake. And, you know, protein shakes, usually I see people like, oh, 15, 20 grams of protein. Woohoo, look at me, like I got a huge protein. I figured out how to make my protein drink 40 grams of protein. So I get like half my day in just from a drink in the morning, which is phenomenal. I'm going to do this vodka teeny shade. Oh, that's pretty. So what I've been doing is there is a ketogenic brand of yogurts called Ratio, and they make these really yummy yogurts. I usually get like the coconut or the cherry flavored ones to use because I think they have like the best flavors. And then I've been using a protein powder that has and then this is the Olive Lover shade. Oh gosh, that's pretty. I've been using a protein powder that has 25 grams of protein per scoop. So the yogurt has 15 grams and then the powder has 25 grams. I've been giving it a little kick with like some cut up fruit, and that gives it just a little bit of flavor beyond just the protein powder, because the one that I'm using right now is a vanilla powder, so it doesn't really taste like a whole lot. And then adding a little bit of almond milk and some ice cubes to give it a little bit of like frothy milkshakey kind of texture. That's been working out really, really well, and I'm super happy with that progress. And I feel like on the days where I'm able to get that protein shake in and drink it, I have an easier time getting everything else that I needed in the day, and I'm seeing more consistent results. Going in with a little bit of Hello Good Stuff primer. So I'm sure the primary question that everybody has is, what have my results been? And so I've been on my program since January 2nd. So this is basically 4 months at this point that I've been on the medication. And at my 4-month mark, I had come down just a little over 40 pounds. So 10 pounds a month is my progress. And I think that's phenomenal progress. I don't think I've ever had such consistent progress with anything I've ever done before. So I am super, super happy with that. Goodness, let me not throw everything on the floor. I'm just going to color correct a little bit here. That's the e.l.f. color corrector and the Pro Conceal corrector from, what is this, LA Colors or LA Girl? LA Girl. So 40 pounds in 4 months. I've definitely seen like a huge change in the way that I'm like looking at food and looking at portions. Now, I will say my brain still like says put more on your plate. Like I'm gonna eat like I used to, but then I eat just a little bit and I'm like, cannot eat anymore. Like that's it, I tapped out. And so I'm slowly trying to like train my brain, like you don't even need to take this much on your plate the first go around, because you're definitely not going to eat it. So I guess my first tip / trick would be upping your protein, shooting for like as much protein as you can get in the day, and then like really downgrading the carbohydrate intake just to try to balance that out a little bit. So at the first video that I did, I was talking about how I was doing exercise, and basically was shooting for about 20 minutes of weight-bearing exercise 4 days a week. And I'm just going in with this little Sephora contour single that I have. Since then, I've bumped it up to between 25 and 30 minutes, depending on how much time I have in the morning. And I'm doing these workouts like before work. So I'm getting up between 5 and 5:15 in the morning to do a workout, and working out for about 25 to 30 minutes. So getting finished around 5:45 or 6 o'clock. And I find that really gives me, kind of that like peace and quiet time. I don't have to juggle like keeping an eye on my kids because they're still asleep. So I can get like a really consistent workout. And my husband actually kind of revamped our attic so that we have like a better workout space. And so I've been kind of like setting myself up for success with that. Basically, every morning I'll go up there and we have a projector set up, so we can actually use a projector-sized screen to watch a video, and I'll just throw on something that I want to watch and then do my 25 minutes, 30 minutes, and then be on my way. And I feel like if you have a space that you can set up and kind of dedicate to the plan to work out, it's going to be so much easier, because all you have to do is get up, throw your clothes on, run upstairs and work out. And so that's what I've been doing for like the workout side of things. I have not been doing any cardio. This is all weight bearing. So, biceps, triceps, delts, quads, glutes, like all that kind of stuff. I've been doing some back and abs, although intermittently I've had an issue with my low back and with my knee due to injuries I don't even know how I created. But nevertheless, I've been kind of going easier on those two joint and like locations just to try to make my life a little bit easier, but still working out even though I feel like there's a part of my body that I can't use or that I can't use to the fullest extent. And I think that's another thing to remember is like just because you hurt like your knee or your back, which arguably is like a big joint to have out of commission, right? Like either one of those takes a lot of moves off the table. But just because you have that issue doesn't mean you cannot work out at all. You definitely still can, and you should. Okay, so let's do the lower lash line now. I'm going to go into the shade Green Olive, which is like this really bright kind of chartreusey green. Lunches, I mean, I prepare lunches for my husband and I for work for the week, so we have lots of options here. But usually I'm doing some kind of meat and veg. And we tend to like a lot of like really bold flavors, so I will do like a really spicy chicken or kind of like an Asian stir fry kind of thing, like something that keeps it a little bit more interesting than just like bland chicken breast. And I think that's something that a lot of people forget is there are a lot of flavors out there that you can use that are not sugar. So definitely explore, especially if you like spicy foods, like explore that. It will make your food a lot more interesting and you're more likely to stick with what you're doing. Now, the good thing or the bad thing, depending on how you look at it, with something like these injections is that you can't really take a day off. Like, you can't really be like, oh, I have a party this weekend, that's going to be my cheat day. There's no cheat day in this, because if you cheat too much, you're going to make yourself sick. And thankfully, it took me till I was probably 2 months into the program to end up getting sick. But I did get really sick one night, actually one weekend. And I think it was actually more due to not taking my acid reflux medication, because I did not think that I was needing it. And then when I started having like a lot of nausea and belly pain, I started it back up again, and that got a lot better. So I think that was more the acid than anything else, but definitely, I hate throwing up. Throwing up is like my least favorite thing ever. All right, and then let's finish this eye look here. I'm going to use the shade Crisp, which is just another like dark olive shade. I don't really know that this is going to match, but whatever, we're going to wing it here. Dinner is usually much of the same, meat and a vegetable. Now, our kids are not eating a ketogenic diet. Like, we let them eat not whatever they want, but we do still incorporate carbohydrates for them. So they do not follow along with all this, but they'll eat the meat and the vegetables that we cook, of course. Rude. And then I need an inner corner. I guess I'll use this Just a Splash shade, which is kind of like a golden kind of shade. It's cute. Okay, let's grab a dark liner. I have this really nice like olivey green from NYX. This is the shade Golden Olive. Let me just pop this on real quick. And then I'm going to use this blush that I just picked up from Benefit during the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty sale. This is the Java shade, which is like this kind of rich mahogany brown color. And I need a really gentle blush brush here. So in terms of my recommendations for like how can you be even more successful with this, what I would say is for like when you're going to plan out meals, try not to set yourself up for like making like spaghetti with a fake pasta. You know what I mean? Like make chicken, make salmon, make roasted or grilled vegetables, like make something that would not outwardly look like it was keto. It's not like full of replacement foods or like substitution foods. It's just food, right? It's just the basic stuff. That's what I would recommend, because the sooner you can kind of get your body to get used to having meals that aren't full of rice and bread and pasta, the easier your life is going to be. Because that's one thing that like when you eat those things regularly, then your body just expects you to continue eating them. So it gets a little bit challenging to kind of come up with all these substitutions. I need bronzer, I guess. I guess I'll use this Jacqueline one I've been trying since 21 Days of Beauty as well. So it wasn't until probably month 2 or 3 that I started experimenting with like substitution type foods. Like I made a keto dessert using like stevia and things like that, but I don't care for stevia too much. I think it has like a weird sour aftertaste that's kind of metallic, so I tend to just avoid eating those things rather than like trying to eat them and make it a substitute for something else. And then I'm gonna go in with the House Labs highlighter that I picked up during the sale. Do I have a highlight brush over here? No. Now, one thing I have found that was pretty handy was the like fathead dough recipe, which if you have not come across that yet, it's something you should definitely look into, especially if you're more of like a carb lover. You can incorporate the fathead dough recipe, which basically is a mozzarella cheese and cream cheese based dough, if you will. Sorry, that's my quote unquote, my air quotes. But that recipe you can find online everywhere, and you can use that to make like a calzone, or I actually made like a soft pretzel last night with it, which came out pretty good. So that's one where I'm like, yeah, you could probably get away with that. And then we've been trying out a couple different like low carb, no carb tortilla substitutes because our kids love tacos. I love tacos too, let's be real. But because our kids love them so much, we have them at least once a week. And normally I would just make like a taco salad, right? Like put everything on top of lettuce. And they're not too bad. I think my favorite are the Tomorrow's wraps, but they're like really, really big. So if you like something smaller, there's also, I want to say it's Mission, makes like a 0 carb wrap too. It has 7 grams of fiber. So all of the carbohydrate is fiber and net effective carbs is 0. This is the Entranced Pat McGrath lipstick from the collab with Bridgerton. Okay, so let's talk like my basic wrap up. So in the first 4 months of weekly semaglutide injections, I've gone from the 0.25 to the 1.3 dose. I've lost 40 pounds, which I think is phenomenal. And the keys, my personal thoughts on my keys to success is consistent exercise. I have not skipped a day of exercise in those 4 months. That's 4 days a week, only 25 minutes. So I'm not pushing myself super hard. It's an easy thing to do. I'm not building it up in my mind as some crazy task, right? I can do this. So a little bit of exercise 4 days a week, weight-bearing exercise only, ketogenic diet, high protein, low carbohydrate, minimum fat. and consistency. I think that's the biggest thing. With this program, if you let your body tell you when you're full, you are going to fill up so quickly on the medication that you're not going to want to like shove your face full of food. Eat slow and stop when your body tells you you're full. It doesn't matter how much food is left on your plate. Save it for another day. It's not the end of the world. I think that's pretty much it. I think those are the big things that I've been learning along the way. Definitely there's some recipes that I could share. If that's something that you guys are interested in, definitely let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to sign off here. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe before you go, and I'll catch you in my next one. Bye.